You've probably started hearing more about peptides lately. And depending on what you've seen, they either sound like the magic solution or something a little questionable. But here's the thing, peptides aren't a shortcut, and they're not for everyone. But for the right person, they can be the missing piece when your body has stopped responding to everything else. Hey, beautiful, it's Claudine, functional health practitioner and author of Your Midlife Body Code. If you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell. And if you want help figuring out exactly where your body is right now and why it may not be responding the way you expect, you can take my Midlife Body Code quiz below. Okay, let's get into this. So, what are peptides? At the simplest level, peptides are short chains of amino acids, and they act like signaling molecules in the body, which means they tell your body what to do. But instead of forcing a process, they signal your body to respond. So, for example, certain peptides can signal the body to repair tissue, like when I broke my foot, reduce inflammation, regulate the nervous system, support hormone signaling, and let go of stubborn weight. So they're not replacing what your body does. They're helping your body do what it's already designed to do, just more effectively, but only if your body is in a place where it can respond. Now, peptides are getting a lot of attention right now because people are seeing real results. But here's where things get misunderstood. They're often talked about like, take this and it fixes everything. But that's not how this works, because peptides don't override your physiology like a prescription drug would, right? They work with it, which means if your body isn't in a place where it can respond, you won't get the results you're expecting. And this is also why peptides tend to come into the conversation in midlife, because this is usually the point where women start noticing what used to work isn't working the same anymore. Your recovery changes, your sleep changes, your tolerance to stress changes, and your body becomes a lot more sensitive to what's happening underneath. So when something is off, you feel it more. And that's the moment a lot of women start looking for something stronger, something more targeted, something that finally moves the needle. That's where peptides enter the conversation, not as a first step, but as a response to feeling stuck. But that doesn't mean that they're the starting point. Now, here's the nuance, and this is the part that most people skip. Peptides are for the woman who has already cleaned up her diet, is trying to eat the right way. Maybe she's even under eating during the day because she's trying to be good. She's working out consistently, sometimes even pushing harder than she used to, and she still feels stuck. She's dealing with things like gut issues that won't fully resolve no matter what she removes, or waking up at 2 to 3 a.m. wide awake, maybe feeling wired but exhausted during the day. Maybe she's reacting to supplements that are supposed to help, or maybe she has low libido or shifts in her hormones, or stubborn weight that won't budge even when she's doing everything right. And this is where it gets frustrating, because it feels like I'm doing everything. I'm doing all the things. So why isn't any of it working? That's usually not a discipline problem. It's a responsiveness problem. And what makes this even more infuriating is that this usually isn't the first thing she's tried. She's already run labs that come back normal. She's been told everything looks fine. She's tried multiple approaches that were supposed to work. And at some point, it stops feeling like a strategy problem and it starts feeling like her body is the problem. That's who peptides are for. Now, this is exactly how I use them in my work. I don't start with peptides. I start with understanding what's actually going on in the body by supporting minerals, supporting the nervous system, stabilizing the foundation, because that's what allows the body to respond. Then, as needed, we layer in peptides. These are things like, maybe you've heard of BPC 157 for gut repair, KPV for calming down inflammation, Selenk for nervous system support, because who among us doesn't have chronic stress? Maybe MOTS-C or retatrutide for stubborn weight and fatigue, DSIP for sleep. Anyone here having sleep issues? Or kisspeptin, which are hormones, supporting hormones that, even out that perimenopause drift. And when they're used at the right time, this is often what helps things finally shift. So why does the timing even matter? Let me give it to you straight. If you use peptides too early, you might either not feel much, or you might feel worse, or you assume they don't work, because the issue at that point isn't the peptide, it's that your body isn't ready to respond yet. Because if your system is overwhelmed, it's focused on survival, not repair. So instead of jumping to stronger tools too early, we build the foundation so those tools actually work. Now, here's an example, this pattern I see all the time. A woman comes in and she's frustrated because she's not guessing. She's done the research, she's tried the supplements, she's cleaned up her diet, she's doing what she's supposed to be doing, but nothing is really shifting. Or things improve a little and then plateau. So it starts to feel like maybe this is just how my body is now. And that's the moment where everything changes. Because once we understand what her body actually needs and we support it in the right order, then we can layer in something more targeted. And that's where, for some women, everything finally starts moving again. So the bottom line is this: peptides are not magic. They're not necessarily for everyone, but for the right person, they can be the missing piece, not because they replace the work, but because they help your body finally respond to it. And that's why this isn't about choosing the right peptide. It's about knowing whether your body is actually ready for that level of support. So if you're watching this and thinking, okay, this might be me, the next step isn't choosing a peptide. It's figuring out why your body isn't responding in the first place. Because if you skip that, you'll keep trying things that should work and wondering why they don't. That's exactly what my midlife body code quiz helps you do. It shows you which system is most likely driving what you're dealing with right now, so you can stop guessing and start being more targeted. You can take it below. And if you already have labs and you're still not getting answers, that's where we can look at them together. Just reach out. See you next time.